information. So if you have any doubts about this topic, you have to ask the questions in the form of comment. So before discussing the mechanism of urine formation, subscribe the channel, share the channel, and like the channel. So easy goal classes are available in easy goal channel and also purpose class. So here we are going to discuss about one of the important topics in excretion lesson. So that is it. So mechanism of urine formation. So mechanism of urine formation. It has four stages. First stage is glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. Okay, total four stages. Total four stages. First one is glomerular filtration and tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. So is it audible to you?
కరెక్ట్ సౌండ్ రాకపోతే చెప్పండి, విల్ డిస్కస్. సో ఫోర్ స్టేజెస్ మెకానిజం ఆఫ్ యూరిన్ ఫార్మేషన్. ఫోర్ stages. So first one is glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. Four stages. So you know that already we have discussed structure of nephron. First part of the nephron is Malpighian body and renal tube. So Malpighian body is also called renal capsule and Malpighian capsule, which consisting two main parts. Glomerulus, bunch of fine blood capillaries are called glomerulus, and a blind cup-shaped broader structure is called Bowman's capsule. Both Bowman's capsule and glomerulus together constitute to form Malpighian body. Malpighian body is also called Malpighian capsule, renal capsule. Okay, glomerulus are also called filtering units. You know that already. Glomerulus lined up with a single layer epithelial cells are called podocyte cell. Glomerulus lined with a single layer podocyte cells. Single layer epithelial cells are called podocyte cells. They are helps to filter. They are porous and helps to filter the blood. Then the blood is flows into the next part of nephron, Bowman's capsule. Okay, now we are going to discuss about already you know that the main parts of nephron. Okay, glomerulus and Bowman's capsule together constitute to form Malpighian body, and the next part, the remaining part except Malpighian body, the tubular structure is called what? Renal tubule, which is consisting of three parts: PCT, loop of Henle, U-shaped structure, U-shape, PCT, loop of Henle, and also DCT. So distal convoluted tubule, PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and loop of Henle. Next, DCT. So renal tubule has three parts: PCT, loop of Henle, and DCT. Now we are going to discuss about the mechanism of urine formation. The first one is glomerular filtration. First one is glomerular filtration. Renal artery carry what? Oxygenated blood from heart to the kidneys. Oxygenated blood with waste material. So renal artery further divided into very fine tubular structures, very fine tubular structures. Capillary is called a efferent arterial. Efferent arterial carry the blood towards the glomerulus. Towards the glomerulus. Efferent means towards, which carry blood towards glomerulus. So efferent arterial carry the blood towards the glomerulus due to narrowness of efferent arterial. Efferent arterial is arise means form from glomerulus. So efferent away, the blood vessel carry the blood away from, compared to the efferent arterial. Efferent arterial is very small, small in diameter. So due to the narrowness, blood carry from glomerulus to the towards the renal tubule. Towards means efferent arterial around the, it is renal tubule is surrounded by the efferent arteriole. So due to that narrowness means the blood vessel which carry the blood away from the glomerulus, away efferent arteriole which carry the blood towards the away from the glomerulus. So efferent arteriole. So due to narrowness of this efferent arteriole, the blood is filtered here. Blood is filtered and enter into the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule. So blood flows with high pressure. Blood is filtered here. Blood is filtered here. Glomerulus, due to narrowness of efferent arterial, the glomerulus blood is filtered here and enter into the blood is filtered. Blood is filtered fluids enter into the Bowman's capsule. This is called glomerular filtration. The filtration is takes place in glomerulus. So this filtration is called glomerular filtration. Due to the narrowness of efferent arteriole, the blood flows with high pressure due to the narrowness. So blood filtered from glomerulus and enter into the Bowman's capsule. This filtration is called glomerular filtration. It is also called pressure filtration. Also called pressure filtration and primary filtration, and also called ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration. So glomerular filtration, also called pressure filtration, primary filtration, and ultrafiltration. So the substances, what are the substances are there in the blood? So all the substances except blood cells, all the substances, useful and unuseful substances filtered here. So this filtration is called glomerular filtration, pressure filtration, and it is also called primary urine. Primary urine. Primary urine. So all the useful substances and unuseful substances filter and enter into the renal tube. Renal tube. Both useful substances and unuseful substances. So here glomerular filtration from Bowman's capsule to renal tubule means glomerular to renal tube or glomerulus to renal tube. So next, this is the first stage of glomerular filtration. Next, tubular reabsorption. All the substances, useful and unuseful substances, filtered here. So, but useful substances are needed for our body, required for our body to get energy, to maintain our body functions. Vitamins, minerals, all are useful. So that again, some of the useful substances from renal tubules. Okay na, renal tubule. Okay na, filtered blood is in the renal tubule, like PCT. Okay na, PCT, the fluid substances which are present in a PCT, renal tubule. After glomerular filtration by the glomerulus, all the useful substances and unuseful substances filtered and enter into the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule. This is what this part is called what, PCT. So from here, the useful substances again reabsorbed. Useful substances are reabsorbed by the blood capillaries. Blood capillaries, peritubular capillaries network of. So your renal tubule is surrounded by, around the renal tubule, peritubular capillaries, network of peritubular capillaries are the blood capillaries which absorb the useful substances. This is called tubular reabsorption. Tubular reabsorption. Okay, now, from renal tubule to blood capillaries. Blood capillaries, network of blood capillaries, tubular network of tubular, peritubular capillaries. So useful substances, all the useful substances, okay, like nutrients, vitamins. So uh, they are saying hi sir in the comment section. So if you have any doubts, you can ask to me. So here, renal tubule, renal tubule, the useful substances, renal tubules, all the useful substances absorbed by the peritubular capillaries, network of peritubular capillaries which surround the renal tubule. All the useful substances reabsorb. It is takes place in the part of PCT of renal tubule. 75%, 75% of the water also reabsorbed from renal tubule to blood capillaries, and also all the useful substances, vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, all the useful substances will be reabsorbed by the blood capillaries from renal tubule to blood capillaries. This is called tubular reabsorption. Reabsorption means all the useful substances take back taken back into the blood capillaries. This is called tubular reabsorption. Tubular reabsorption, and here 75% of water also reabsorbed. All the useful substances, enzymes, hormones, vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, all the useful substances reabsorbed by the blood capillaries which are surround the renal tubule. From renal tubule to blood capillaries. This takes place in which part of the renal tubule? PCT. PCT. Next, tubular secretion. Third stage of mechanism of urine formation, tubular secretion. So, while absorbing of all the useful substances from renal tubule to blood capillaries, some unuseful substances are also absorbed by the blood capillaries. So, unuseful substances, lupofenylly, this is what U-shaped structure, lupofenylly and DC. From here, the unuseful substances secreted from blood capillaries to renal tubule. Blood capillaries to renal tubule. Unuseful substances like urea, uric acid, creatinine, and excess ions like potassium, sodium, hydrogen ions, all the unused substances secreted into the renal tubule, blood capillaries to renal tube. This takes place, this process, this stage is takes place in which part of the renal tubule? Here, loop of Henle and also DCT. DCT is the second coiled structure of nephron, DCT, loop of Henle and DCT. So, tubular secretion, all the waste materials are secreted into renal tubule from blood capillaries to renal tubule. So this is what tubular secretion. Next and last stage is what? Concentration of urine. Concentration of urine. Here, blood capillaries to renal tubule. So all the waste materials are reabsorbed, secreted into the blood capillary, renal tubule, blood capillaries to renal tubule, and it is decided the pH of urine. Concentration of urine, pH of urine. So next stage is what? Concentration of urine. So here also 10%, 10% in the collecting duct, 10% of the water is reabsorbed, reabsorbed, passed out from the collecting duct to blood capillaries. 10%, 10% of the water also passes out from collecting duct to blood capillaries. So here the concentration of the urine is decided by, there is an hormone called vasopressin, vasopressin hormone, vasopressin hormone. The concentration of urine is decided by vasopressin hormone. When the water concentration is very lower in the body, so vasopressin hormone immediately secreted by the pituitary gland and it decides the concentration of urine. When the urine is diluted, dilute means what? Extra more water is there in the urine. So vasopressin hormone is not involved in that, and this condition is called diabetes insipidus. That condition is called diabetes insipidus. So concentration of urine is very lower, and the person who are suffering with diabetes insipidus, so excess urination, frequent urination, that condition is called diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus. So vasopressin hormone, which decide the concentration of urine, play an important role. When the concentration is lower, water level is very lower in the blood, so vasopressin is released by the pituitary gland and it is decide the concentration of urine. What is the hormone? Vasopressin hormone. Vasopressin hormone. Concentration of urine is decided by an hormone called vasopressin hormone. So here this is mechanism of urine formation. It has four stages. First one is glomerular filtration. It is also called pressure filtration. Primary urine, primary urine, and also ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration. So glomerular filtration is takes place in which part of the uh, nephron? So in the glomerular, due to narrowness and the narrowness of efferent arteriole, the blood flows with high pressure. Okay, due to the narrowness of efferent arteriole, blood flows into the glomerulus and it is filtered here, and all the substances, both useful substances and unuseful substances, filtered and this filtration is called glomerular filtration. It is takes place in which part of the nephron? Glomerulus. This is what bunch of fine blood capillaries is called what? Glomerulus. Glomerulus. This filtration, where the filtration is takes place in nephron, when the blood flows with high pressure. So due to the narrowness of efferent arterial, the blood is filtered here, and this filtration is called glomerular filtration, and also called pressure filtration, primary urine, and also called ultra filtration. So what is happening? Blood flows from glomerulus to Bowman's capsule. Here, glomerulus to Bowman's capsule. Okay, now renal tubule. Okay, Bowman's, this part is called renal tubule, and the next part is called what? Renal tubule. Bowman's capsule to renal tubule. All the useful substances and unuseful substances filtered here. This is what first stage of mechanism of urine formation. Next stage is tubular reabsorption. All the useful and unuseful substances filtered here. So useful substances are very essential for the body, like vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, enzymes, hormones, minerals. All the useful substances reabsorbed by the blood capillaries. So from renal tubule, this is what renal tubule, U-shaped structure. PCT, loop of Henle, and DCT are the parts of renal tubule. So from here, from mainly from PCT, so renal tubule, all the useful substances reabsorbed by the blood capillaries. Blood capillaries means network of peritubular capillaries which surround the renal tubule. So all the useful substances reabsorbed by the blood capillaries. This is called tubular reabsorption. Tubular reabsorption. Next, tubular secretion. All unuseful waste materials are secreted into blood capillaries. Here from blood capillaries to DCT. So this is called what? Tubular secretion. All the waste materials and also ions, waste materials like urea, uric acid, uh, sodium, potassium, hydrogen ions, all the unuseful substances, creatinine, all the unuseful substances secreted into the renal tubule. Okay, from blood capillaries to renal tubule, it is takes place in a loop of Henle and DCT. This is what tubular secretion. Next, last one is concentration of urine. Concentration of urine. Yes, 75% of the water is absorbed by the blood capillaries, absorbed by the blood capillaries in the PCT, and 10% of the water is passes out in the part of collecting duct, and the urine is highly concentrated. Urine is highly concentrated. When the urine is concentrated, there is a hormone is released by the pituitary gland which decides the concentration of urine. What is that hormone? Vasopressin hormone. Vasopressin hormone secreted by the pituitary gland. So diabetes insipidus, the urine is sometimes dilute, more water content. That condition is called frequent urination and excess urination. That condition is called diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus means what? In that condition, vasopressin hormone is not released, not secreted by the pituitary gland. The concentration of urine is decided by vasopressin hormone. What is that hormone? Vasopressin hormone. So this is about what? Mechanism of urine formation. It has four stages: glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. So if you have any doubts about this, you can ask to me. This is mechanism of urine formation. Okay, for the latest classes, subscribe the channel, share the channel, and like the channel. And classes are available in Easy Goal channel and also Toppers class. So if you have any doubts, you can ask to me. So how many stages are there? 4 stages: glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. 2 minutes. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the form of comment. So this is about what mechanism of urine formation. It is having 4 stages: glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. So concentration of urine decided by the vasopressin hormone. The concentration of urine is decided by vasopressin hormone. When the concentration of urine means formation of urine is decided by vasopressin hormone. When it is absent, vasopressin is hormone is absent, so the person's passes dilute urine, repeated urine, excess urine. This condition is called diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus. So 4 stages: glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, and tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. So next time we will discuss another topic. Okay, subscribe the channel, share the channel, and like the channel.